All right, everybody, welcome. It is Tuesday night and we are ready to do some stamping. Tonight I have a really unique, fun card for you guys. And I am using the same set that I used last week just because it fit this card very nicely. So for those of you that are new, my name is Julie Brown. I am a Stampin' Up! Independent demonstrator, and welcome to my Facebook page. Some of you may be watching on YouTube because once I do this live on Facebook and then I upload it to YouTube the same night. So either way, if you have any questions, make sure you type them in the comments. Also, if you're here with me live, please type in your name so I know you're here. And so let's get started because this one's going to take just a little bit to get through. So let me get rid of our housekeeping in a minute. All right, so for those of you that are going to be placing orders with me, that is the hostess code. So if your order is under $150, please use that hostess code. You can order through me, juliebrown.stampinup.net. You can contact me through my email, juliescreativestamping@gmail.com. And then, of course, I have a Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram that is Julie's Creative Stamping. My YouTube channel, hey, Susie. My YouTube channel is juliebrown.juliescreativestamping. And then my blog is where you can find everything that I show you here, step-by-step instructions. Eventually, will get on my blog at stampinjuliebrown.blogspot.com. So how did my hair get so long in 1 week? This is how long my hair is, Susie. I just always have it up, and so nobody ever sees how long it is. So, yeah, I know. Quite a surprise to see my hair long today. I do want to just post one thing really quick. Hey, Brenda. So for those of you that don't know, I've tried to get the word out to all of my customers today. But if you're new to Stampin' Up, or if this is your first time learning anything about Stampin' Up and you see something you want to order tonight, get your order in tonight because any order of $75 or more is free shipping today only. So, and those of you that are in my monthly club, again, if you haven't put your order in for June yet, today would be a good day to do that so that you get that free shipping. Alrighty, let's get started. So we are going to be using the Season of Chic stamp set and the dies. Now I have stamped and cut most of the stuff ahead of time because we're doing a little it's a complicated card, but it's really not hard. But I'm actually going to walk you through the scoring and everything on it so that you guys can replicate it at home. Okay, so what you're going to need as far as your card base. So on your card base, I am using Sahara Sand. And this was an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Hey, Shanine. I cut it in half at 5.5. And then I also have another sheet that is 4.25 by 5.5. So I'm going to show you the scoring and the cutting on this so that it is not complicated for you. I'm actually going to bring in my scoreboard for this. So this is the Stampin' Up! Scoreboard. And some of you have probably never seen me use this before. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 4.25, which is right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and do my score line. I think I need, oh, that is the thin side. So I'm just going to pull that down like so. And then on the next one, so this is the other 5.5, 8.5 by 5.5 piece of paper. And on this one, we are going to score at 1/2 inch. Oopsies. And the reason I'm using the scoreboard is because sometimes when I use my cutter, I don't get it lined up exactly right. And so I want to be kind of exact on these. So I'm going to do 1/2 inch and then I'm going to do 4.25, just like I did on the last one. And then I'm going to do 4.75, which is right here. Okay, now I'll be bringing this back in because I'm going to score this small piece, but I need to trim just a tad bit off before I do that. Cool, Susie. You ordered at midnight and your order's already shipped. That's awesome. That's what happens when you stay up late and order. Okay, so what we're going to do with the first piece that we scored at the 4 1/4, which is like just a normal card base. We're going to go ahead and take this piece, and we're going to bring our trimmer in, and we are going to trim a 1/2 inch off the back side. Okay, so it's going to look like that. Alrighty. And then this 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I'm just going to line it up. So see this, this is where my track is, and then there's just a little, this dark color. I'm just going to line it up so that it's even with that. And I'm just going to take a little piece off, just the tiniest of pieces. And then I'm going, oh gosh, and then I'm going to do the same on the top edge. Alrighty. And now I'm going to bring that scoreboard back in, and on this piece, we are going to score each end at 1/4. So, like I said, you guys don't see me use my scoreboard a lot, mainly because, as you can see, it doesn't fit in the screen very well. And sometimes it's just easier for me because I already have my cutter out to use it, the one on the cutter. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch on that end, and then we're going to flip it, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch on this end. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to put my stylus back in place so I don't lose it. Okay, so then we're just going to burnish all these edges like so. And this one. Then we're going to bring this one in, and again, we're just going to burnish these edges. So I've got that one, I've got this corner here, and I've got this one here. Okay, now you can, to decorate yours, you can stamp it, you can do whatever you want, but we've got beautiful designer series paper that comes along with this Textured Chic suite. So I'm actually going to adhere a piece on the front of this, and then I'm going to be cutting an opening, but I want to adhere that piece before I cut the opening. But the first thing I want to do is kind of get a measurement and see where we're at here, because I don't want it to go all the way to the edge. So this is like 3/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm probably going to do this, let's see, 3 5/8 by 5 3/8 is what I'm going to cut my designer series paper, if I can remember what I just said. So let me see if this piece will actually work. So what did I say? 3 and see, short-term memory, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's this one. I'm gonna do 1 2 3 4 3 5/8 and 5 3/8. Okay, 3 5/8. So we're gonna cut it like that, and then I'm gonna cut it to 5 3/8. Yeah, this is a treat. You guys are getting to see me like from beginning to end with this, with the cutting and the scoring and all that part, which you normally don't get to see. So I'm going to take this, and I am just going to adhere this onto this. This is actually the inside, one of the inside pieces of the card. And then I'm just going to try to open this flat so that I can get it. So I want it in this section right here. And so we're just going to try to fit that so that we've got just a little bit of an edging around it. There we go. Alrighty. And then I'm going to turn this completely over, and I'm going to have an opening here, and so I need something on this piece here. So again, I'm going to come in, and it's probably going to be, and this one can actually be quite a bit smaller because you don't see this whole thing. But this looks like it's going to be about the same measurement. So that was 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. So let's, and this is like the other side, but I'm going to be using this side. So that was 3 5/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And then we're going to do the 5 3/8 here. All right. So again, this is the Textured Chic Designer Series paper, and this gets a little complicated, so I tend to always look. So I'm going to have my hole here, so my paper needs to go here. So I do a lot of double checking when I'm doing these kind of fancy fold cards, just to make sure I get my paper placed where I need it. All right. So again, we're just going to stick that right here. All right, so now this is what I have so far. So now what we're going to do is we are going to cut. So sorry, I didn't put this up here for you guys. I'm using the Textured Chic suite, like everything in the suite. And then I am adding a few different, so I am also going to be using the stylish shape dies and the layering diorama dies. So just so you guys know what I'm doing. So we're going to bring in those layering diorama dies, and I'm going to need 2 sizes that are just pretty close to each other, but just a little bit smaller. Now, if you guys don't have the layering diorama dies, you can do this with the layering circles. If you have layering squares, you just want to have a set where you have, like, see how these kind of nestle into each other? And with our layering circles, they nestle into each other. So you want to have a set that works where it's that pretty close like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to bring in my Post-it notes. And we're just going to, because I want to get this centered, and we're just going to stick that down like that. Now I am using my big Stampin' Cut emboss machine tonight, just because it's a bigger piece, and this whole piece is not going to fit in the little one. So we're going to run this through. And so what we're doing tonight, it's called a tunnel card. It's a lot of fun, and it took me a couple of times doing this to try to figure out how it fit exactly, because I decided to use these diorama dies instead of like circle dies. Now the cool thing is that you'll see it cut through both sheets, and I now have, well, I don't know where the other one went. Oh, there it is. I now have these 2 fun shapes that I can use on some other cards. So that'll be fun to figure out later. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this smaller piece that I cut and scored, and I'm going to lay this so that it lines up, and it won't go like all the way to the top, but I'm trying to match up the score lines is the most important thing here. And I'm just going to push that down a little bit, and then I'm going to lay this inside here like so. And I'm trying to decide if I want to have it, do I want it that way, or do I want it so that it's going to cut it so that it gives it a little more. I think I'm going to just go with the same shape here. And then I'm going to bring this in, and I'm just going to tape it in place so I can pull that up. And then again, we're going to bring in that die cut machine, and we're going to run this through the die cut machine. And cut this. And again, like I said, if you have layering circles, if you have layering octagons, squares, rectangles, this will work with all of those. Like the stitched rectangles, this would work with that. But I just wanted to use the layering diorama dies because I know there's been a few people that aren't really quite sure how to use these still. But this card is like this set is perfect for this type of tunnel card. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to bring in some Stampin' or Tear and Tape, Stampin' Seal. I don't know what I'm talking about. And I am going to add this to this 1/2 inch piece over here. And then I'm also going to add it here. Now the issue here is that this is only 1/4 inch, and this is kind of like a little bit bigger, like 1/2 inch, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here, and then I'm just going to turn it over and trim it. Now I have a pair of these blue scissors that I use are what I call my my adhesive scissors. And I have to clean them quite a bit because I use them anytime I'm cutting something that is going to have adhesive on it. And then I don't know if you guys can see it if I bring it up close. Let me see if I put my hand. I don't know if you can see that, but you can see how it's got some residue on it from the sticky stuff that I cut with this. So then I'm just going to turn this over, and this gets a little tricky because it tries to stick to my scissors. But one thing I found is if I can just kind of get it right up against the card stock and then just kind of push, it's sharp enough that it just cuts it. So you see how I did that? I just kind of pushed it and it trimmed that really nice. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'll show you this again. So I start it and then I just push it, but you've got to make sure you're right up against the cardstock, and then you can just push if you have sharp enough scissors, and it's just going to cut that like so. Makes it pretty easy to do that. Alrighty. Okay, so I think we're going to, I've got to think about my steps here. Yes, we're going to do this one first. So what we're going to do with this little piece here, let me get it lined up right. Hold on. Yeah, that's how I want it. I'm just kind of looking to see how I want this to sit. Yeah, it's the other way. So I'm going to do it this way. And I'm just going to, first I'm going to burnish this edge here. Sorry, I got a cord coming through. And I'm just going to pull this up on the right-hand side. Now this is the part that's really important. So what you want to do is you want to lay this so that it is absolutely touching this score line over here. And then you're just going to fold this over like so. All right. So then it picks it up like that. And you can see this is kind of what it looks like from the top. Gotcha? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to adhere this now to this other card base that I cut that 1/2 inch off of. And again, I am going to be using Tear and Tape here. And we're just going to put a few strips on this back side, like so. And you guys have heard me say this before. When do I use Tear and Tape? I use Tear and Tape especially for cards like this that are, you know, this has a lot of dimension to it. And it's actually, you'll see when we start working with this, how it actually has a lot of movement. So anytime that you have a card that is going to have a lot of movement to it, it's Tear and Tape works really well for those types of situations. All right, so I'm just going to use my Take Your Pick tool to just get those edges off. And again, the lining up of this it's the hardest part, but it's not that it's that, but because this is Tear and Tape, it's like super sticky. And so I'm trying not to like touch it down until I know I've got it lined up right. So there you go. And then when you look at the back of it, it looks flush on the back end because it lined up with this, where this folds right here. Because I remember the first time that I saw one put together, I thought, wait a minute, that's going to leave this really big gap in the back, but it doesn't. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to remove this tear and tape, and it's really important that you make sure that when you're doing these next two steps, that this sticky side is facing up. All right, so I'm going to just lay this down, and I'm gonna lay it so that I'm trying to get my, when I'm laying this down, I'm trying to make sure that those scored edges are even with each other. All right, so now we've got that piece on. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. It took me a while for this part to work. So we're going to pull this off. And what we want to do is we want to pull this back, because you want to lay this so that it is even with this score line. The first time I did it, I laid it like flat this way, flat that way, and that was not the right answer. So it's really important that this fold back, and then we're just going to fold this over like so. Alrighty, so there we go. All right, so now, and again, when you first start opening these, they act a little wonky and they don't work exactly right. And you have to do a lot of like folding this way and folding this way. It takes a lot of just making sure those edges are burnished for it to actually want to open correctly. All right, so this is what we have so far. Now you'll notice that there is some little, if you look at it from the top, see how it's not laying exactly straight? And that is absolutely because of the Designer Series paper. When I did this without the Designer Series paper, it laid a little bit nicer as far as like being really straight, but it's not as cute. So I want the Designer Series paper, right? All right, so that's what we have so far. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to decorate the inside first, and then we will finish with the front, just so you see how easy this is to put together. So I have pre-cut a bunch of the little pieces from this set, and we're working with the shells. And I basically just stamped these, and then I used the blending brush to get the color on there. Now this, what I did is this is one of the sayings from the set, and so I stamped this and I cut this one out with these stylish shape dies. I don't know why my phone's not focusing. What is going on? Let me see if I have to get, there we go. All right, and so this I am actually going to pop up. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab one of these leaves, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this leaf, because now that we've got the diorama, what you want to do is you kind of want to build on all the different layers. And so we need something on this back layer, and so I am going to come in. Now this one, I could have used the adhesive sheet on the back of this one, but I didn't use adhesive sheets because, again, I didn't want these to completely be glued all the way down. Okay, so I'm just going to push that down like so. And then this, I'm actually going to go ahead and pop up. Believe it or not, we can pop it up here. I would not pop it up anywhere else except on this inside layer because when you close it, it already has kind of some depth to it. And so it'll, putting these dimensionals on this does not affect how that the card will close and fit in an envelope. Alrighty, so let's get those off. And then we're just going to take this and we're going to put it, I'm trying to center it like so. Okay, so that's what I have so far. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in, again, I cut a lot of these ahead of time. Now this shell was cut with the rose gold specialty paper. And this is just really pretty and it matches this set. So I'm going to go ahead and poke those little pieces out right there. So I'm going to kind of pull out all the pieces that I am going to put on the inside of this. So I know I want a shell, and I know I'm going to probably use this, and this was cut with that gold, that distressed gold leaf paper. It's really having problems focusing tonight. And then I want one of these solid shells and one of these smaller shells. So this is one of the smaller ones that so I die cut all of these, and I use all of these dies came from this set. Okay, so everything that all of the dies came from this Chic die set, just so you know. All right, and then what else do I want? So I want one of these that I don't want to poke the inside out. So I don't know if you guys can see, I put a little tiny piece of Scotch tape to hold this together because I wanted one of the shells to be like this. And then I did the same thing on this one, but this one I actually am going to end up tearing these pieces out because then I want one shell to have the more detailed look. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to use for this inside. So and so then it's just a matter of building. But I kind of start from the bottom and go up so that I can make sure I can always see this center piece here. So I'm going to take this shell here, and we're just going to make sure I'm just putting glue on the bottom. And it's going to go on this top layer. And so I want it to go at an angle. And you just got to hold it for just a hot second. All right. And now I'm going to come in with this detailed shell, and it's going to actually fit down. Sorry. It's kind of hard to see, but I'm going to pull that apart, and it's actually going to glue to this second level down there. But it's just this little bottom edge that's getting glue on it. And so this one, so I'm going to kind of pull this front one up and then just slide this shell down. And then I'm just going to push down to make sure that it stays in place. So see how it's on a different level. And so this, just by putting things on different levels, we are creating this dimension. Besides, the whole tunnel card is also a dimension all of its own. Then I want to come in with this one, and I want to stick this one kind of over here. And it's going to have to go in quite a ways so that it doesn't block the saying. And if you have to do some trimming, you can do some trimming. But I think I can get that stuck in there and moved. Let me see. No, I'm probably going to have to trim it. So I think I'm just going to trim this little edge here and this little edge here. And that's why sometimes if you're cutting out dies and you mess up and you have dies that you didn't get a whole, like the whole thing cut out, don't throw those away. Can you believe I'm saying don't throw something away? But don't throw them away, because you can use them in cards like this. Okay, so I kind of looked at where I need to put glue. So on this one, I can put quite a bit more glue on, because you've got to be careful not to put glue where it's going to be hanging over, and if you close the card, then it's going, whoops. All right, so that's going to be like that. So I'm going to bend that this way and get that glued down, because you don't want this to start sticking to, like, I don't want this one to stick to that piece. That's why it's kind of hard with the liquid glue, because sometimes you get liquid glue, like I can see it came out on this thing down here, but I'm going to show you a trick for fixing that in just a hot second. So I'm going to put that piece there, and then I'm going to come in with this piece And we're just going to put glue on this top edge. You guys are being really quiet. I hope you're liking this so far. It really isn't a hard card to get together. And so I'm going to pull that up, and I want that to kind of stick like that right there. And then I want this that I cut out of that pearlized again. And again, I'm just going to kind of get a little bit of glue. I'm not going too far up with the glue. And you want to be sparingly with the glue just because, again, you don't want it spilling out everywhere. And so I'm going to put that one right there, like so. And let's see if I want to do some more, because I have these two pieces. I'm trying to decide if I want to maybe like decorate up here. Not really sure. Or maybe over here, or maybe it's enough. And then we can put a little shell over here. No, I'm not liking that. I think this might, or maybe, do I want to just add the shell? So see, this is how you just kind of play around and see what you like to do. Maybe if I went maybe this way a little bit. And then this could kind of come down there. So I'm not really sure. So what do you guys think? Yes or no? Okay. Yeah, so sorry, Susie, that you don't like this DSP. This is actually my favorite DSP. I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful. These are like my colors. Yeah, really, really, really like this DSP. It's one of my favorite set suites in the, but you know, everybody has different taste. And, so yeah. So what do you guys think? Do I add it or not add it? I'm not getting too many responses here. Oh, it might look good down there. I just don't know if I need the leaf is the big thing. I think that might be a little too much. Oh, that kind of looks cool like that. So anyone else? Looks hard to you. It's actually not hard. Truly not hard. This is definitely one I wouldn't do in my class though, just because everyone always, I know how all of you guys are, and you guys are always so rushed every time you guys do stuff. So yeah. All right, so I think we've voted not to put that on there. So we're just going to go with that for the inside. And so now we're going to do the front, and then once I get the front, I'm going to show you how when you open this, it actually has a little bit of movement to it. So on the front, I am going to bring in the shell paper again. And I think I can cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4 and have it fit. So it's so funny how all of us have different taste in paper and stuff. So yeah, this is, like I said, this has been one of my favorite ones. All right, so I'm going to just take this and I'm going to glue that down to the front. And then I'm going to show you another card I did using the Hues of Happiness set. I did another one of these cards, and you'll get to see how it looks with a completely different stamp set. So I need to bring that up a little bit. So yeah, this would be one that we could do like a special get together. So maybe some of you on my team, if you guys want to learn how to do this card, this would be something that I could teach you how to get the basic part done, and then you could decorate it to suit yourselves. And so I cut this out of that gold distressed paper. And this is that, I don't even know what to call it. Ink blot. It almost looks kind of like netting from the sea, right? And so I want to be really careful, and I only want to put glue in like the middle section here. So I'm only going to hit it a couple of places in the middle because I'm going to be putting stuff kind of on the top of this. And so I want it to be textured. And so I want it to kind of pop up. All right, and now I'm going to bring in, so I brought in a little piece of our petal pink ribbon and our natural finish ribbon, and I need some glue dots. So those aren't the right glue dots. Okay. And so I'm going to grab some glue dots, and so I'm going to put one right here in the middle, and then I'm just going to fold this over like so. And then I'm going to go to this back side and add 2 more glue dots. Like so. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of shove this down behind this little piece right here. And stick it down with that glue dot. I'm going to do the same thing with this petal pink ribbon. And then turn it over and put one little glue dot on that back side like so. So you watched a demonstrator call this Textured Chic, huh? You know, sometimes Stampin' Up comes up with names that all of us get a little confused at. And so we're all, sometimes, none of us are sure how to say it. Okay, so I'm going to adhere those 2 pieces of ribbon like so. And now I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to bring this, so the inside says wishing you the best birthday ever, and on the outside I'm going to put thinking of you. Sometimes we think that thinking of you can only be if there's like, sympathy or get well soon, but we can use thinking of you for a birthday card. Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna, I don't know, let me see if I guess I should bring this up a little higher so you guys can see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna try to center that the best that I can onto that piece. And then I'm going to take this piece and put it on a piece of Sahara sand, like so. And again, I'm just going to center it left and right, top and bottom. Or maybe. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus again. And the reason I'm using, one, I like Stampin' Seal Plus a lot, but you'll see me putting quite a bit on this piece because it's actually going to be responsible for holding quite a bit of stuff in place. So now I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to lay this across, and I'm bringing it up so it just barely covers the tip of that petal pink ribbon right there. And then I'm just going to lay this down. So that's going to also, that's why you don't have to use a lot of glue on this, because we've got all of this other glue on top of it. And then I'm going to bring in one of these shells that I did. And we're going to stick that on there. And it's going to lay right here. And then I'm going to bring in a couple of basic jewels. Again, you don't want to go crazy with more texturing on this just because it's already thick, but it will fit in an envelope. So that is one good thing. Come on, pick up. Okay, so we're just going to put a couple of little pearls. Like so. And we're done, guys. We're done with a really cool, this is called an inside tunnel card. So they would pull it out of the envelope, And it says thinking of you, and then when they open it, do you see how it moves? So like it's got movement to it when it opens. Isn't that cool? I love this card. So yeah, it just kind of opens. So what do you guys think? Fun card? I know it might be a little challenging for some of you, but still super cute. And it's really not that hard once you learn how to put them together. So I'm going to bring in the one I did using the Hues of Happiness. So here's the one with the Hues of Happiness, which probably Susie will like this better since she doesn't like this paper. And this one says, you are wonderful in every way. And then voila, look at this one. And that says happy birthday. And can you see all the flowers on the inside? This one was a little harder to see the flowers, but still really cool, still really fun, and still has movement when you open it. See that? Fun stuff, huh? So this is one that's kind of fancy over here with the more chic looking. And then this is a more obviously colorful one with the flowers. So you can see, and I did use and if you notice, so this piece here was basically this piece from so that got cut out. So that was, I guess I gotta line it up. So that was one of the pieces that got cut out that I laid down, and then I put the flowers on top of it. So fun stuff, huh? So thinking of you, da-da, da-da. So there you go, guys. So you can use Hues of Happiness, but I just wanted to show you this really fun technique of making these cards. And I just thought it was a fun, unique card. And like I said, for those of you that are on my team, if this is something that you want to learn, let me know. And for those of you that aren't local, I can do a slower version of this and have you guys cut everything out ahead of time and walk you through how to get these done. But super fun card, super cute card. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I had to show you guys for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Gosh, I thought it was going to take me much longer to put this together. So literally like 42 minutes, and I actually talked for probably 5 minutes at the beginning. So, I mean, this is kind of a cool card to have put together. Of course, it would take you a little bit longer because you have to cut all these pieces out. Now, on this, let me just show you this real quick. On this card here, these were the flowers that were on the paper. So let me see if I have a piece of that paper here. Yeah. So basically it's this paper from the Hues of Happiness, and the dies cuts this leaf out, and all of these flowers out. So way cool on that one as well. So yeah. So I mean, I didn't show you how I put this one together, but you can kind of see how I did it. So tons of fun, tons of fun. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed these cards. I hope it inspires you to go out and learn how to put these types of cards together. Think outside the box. Think of all the different sets that you could use for this card. So I think one that would be really cute is He's the Man would be really cute, and the Happy Forest Friends would be really cute with this. So we have several suites and several sets right now in the catalog that would be in our new annual catalog that would be awesome for this card. So anyway, guys, thank you for being with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I inspired you somewhat. Please make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff, because it just helps me out on my social media so that you guys get to see me more. Anyway, talk to all of you soon, and everybody have a good week, and I'll be seeing you next Tuesday. Bye.